This is a journey into sound. A journey which along the way will bring to you new color, new dimension, new values, and a new experience.
Welcome to the G-Spot Podcast. I'm your guide, Katie Silcox, bringing you your weekly self-love soundbite. Join us for conversations around sex, spirit, and all things self-care. All things self-care. All things self-care.
This is a journey into sound.
Uno, dos, tres, cuatro.
You are a G-Spot Podcast with Katie Silcox.
Hey babes, Katie here, coming to you with some early summer routines. I know, you thought my girl Alicia was going to be on the podcast today. So did we. She had a little emergencia come up and everything's fine, but she couldn't do the podcast with us today. So we are going to do the podcast I had planned for next week, this week, and we're going to get Alicia back rescheduled. So no worries on that end. I am glad because summer is among us, among many of our listeners, unless you're one of our New Zealand, Australia ladies. Most of us over here are in summer. We're in early summer, and we're going to talk today about how to feel really good in the summer. And you guys, I'm doing this beautiful practices out in my backyard, and I just, oops, we're not going to answer that from my sister Mary, who's on her way to see me. We are cleaning up my kitchen. We are Ayurveda-sizing my kitchen. And today we're talking about early summer routines. You may know our girls at Pavani are sponsoring the podcast this month. And I want to highlight a couple of their products that are on my shelf right now and are particularly good for this time of year. They have a tea called the Cool and Calm Blend that I've been using a lot. It's got Brahmi, Shatavari, hibiscus, rose, and peppermint, and passion flower, and fennel, and calendula, and these are all herbs that are cooling. And what I've been doing is if it's hot where you are and sunny, I throw a couple tablespoons or 4 into a glass ball jar. I put it in my backyard directly in the sun kind of all day. And then there's your tea. And you get all of that Shakti of Surya Shakti, solar power. So check out Pavani, you guys. We have their link in the show notes as usual. They have such good stuff. Another of my favorite one is their golden milk turmeric tea, and that's really good right now. Turmeric's really cooling. They have a peppermint oil that I use in the summer for oil pulling. They have amazing spritzers for reducing fire. Check them out. We have their link as usual in the show notes. Check out Pavani. They're the real deal. I only use sponsorship on our show that I truly believe with all my heart are like rad, small business, usually women who are making this shit, you guys, with their hands, right? I want to support that. And so I promise I'll never bring you anything in these sponsorships that I don't myself believe in and use. So let's get to the show. Summer. It's hot, right? Obviously it's hot, but it's confusing, right? Because we're also coming out of the kapha from the previous season, which is chilling out. So all of that heavy earth and water from the springtime, all that congestion, all that mucus, the rising heat in the environment starts to burn up that cool quality of kapha. And that's the good news. But that increasing dryness from the heat over time during the summer starts to actually build vata. So right now we're in this interesting transition from kapha to pitta season. So what do we want to do? We want to just make sure that we're managing our vata and our pitta over the summer. They have a kind of interesting dance, right? As the heat increases, the air increases. Fire over time will dry out air. Luckily right now, we're drying up the water. So you may not experience a lot of vata right now, but you want to make sure that you pacify both of them as we move into summer. And if you know anything about Ayurveda, you may not know this. It's kind of counterintuitive, but really cool. And that is the only taste that pacifies both Pitta, heat, fire, and Vata, air and ether, is the sweet taste, guys. You get to eat sweets during this time of the year. And so I called this podcast Slather Yourself with Roses because I've been putting rose petals in my morning smoothie. Rose petals, dates, yogurt, cardamom, fennel seeds, all these things, cool and sweet. You want to have a little bit of that sweet taste in every meal. Now, that doesn't mean that you're going to eat candy at every meal or cream donuts, right? The sweet taste also comes from, things you would know that are sweet, like honey and dates and maple syrup, but also grains and sweet potatoes and even carrots have a sweetness. This morning, I actually made a smoothie that was based on what I ate last night, which was sweet potatoes and carrots. I boiled them and then I just ground them up in the Vitamix with rose petals, cardamom, and what else did I put? I have this rose petal jam that these amazing herb witches make here in Charlottesville. And I smoothied that up and then made kind of like a sweet potato puree. And then I had a lot of leftovers. So this morning I added that to a smoothie and oh my God, you guys, it was so good. So you want to do sweet tastes with every meal, and it's not going to surprise you. You want to minimize hot tastes. So pungent, sour, and salty, and even drying stuff, astringent and bitter. So you're going to have moist foods over dry foods. You want to kind of reduce your oils during the summer. You want to emphasize light foods, cooling foods, soupy or liquid foods over foods that are kind of rough. I'm making a lot of lassis right now. Lassis are the Indian version of smoothies, and I'm doing just yogurts with, as I told you, sweet stuff. So it could be blueberries, it could be dates, figs, it could be sweet potatoes, carrots. So get creative with your mornings, and you can have a smoothie any time of day. Sweet fruit juices. I'm doing a lot of outdoor, as I said before, what I call plant teas, where I just take, like, I've been taking gardenias from my backyard and roses from my backyard and lavender from my backyard and mint from my backyard and all these things that you have that are edible in your plant life from your backyard. And I literally just put them in a jar, pour it with some filtered water or spring water is best, and put that out in the sun for, 3 to 5 hours. And you're going to get these beautiful, sweet, like sun aids that are subtle and sweet. They're very subtle, but they're very powerful. Obviously, things like coconut water, cucumbers, things like that are going to be more cooling than heating. And what I also want to say is I'm giving you guys a few of the fun examples, but go to your farmer's market and see what's coming up. We're getting a lot of berries in Virginia. We're getting a lot of light leafy greens, things like nettles and dandelion. Just go to your farmer's market and see what's coming up. That's always really the best bet. For your grains, rice is going to be really good. Oats, mung, really good. Avocados, beets, carrots, cilantro, cucumbers, as I said. Any of these nice cooling vegetables, and in general, just anything that's coming up at the farmer's market. Fruits-wise, coconuts, as I said, dates, as I said, any fruits right now. Fruit is now in season. So go to your farmer's market and get what's coming up. And if you're like, oh, I don't have a farmer's market, what do I do? Just lean into the wet fruits like berries, pears, cantaloupes, honeydews, mangoes, melons, oranges, peaches, plums, that kind of stuff. Dates, raisins, all that kind of plump fruit is good now. If you are a meat eater, you're going to want to lean into chicken and seafood right now and kind of avoid the more heating things like beef, lamb, and other more heavy foods. Unfortunately, I know it's like when we want to go out and party the most, but alcohol is like the worst time of the year for drinking. So I know some of you love your drink. And one of the things I've learned, having worked with thousands of women and having worked with this woman called Katie Silcox, I don't like people to take things away from me that I like. So if you are drinking, just try to make it more cooling. So mint will be helpful for that. I mean, if you're on a bender and you're drinking mint juleps, it's not going to help. Or what is that famous drink? Mojitos. Those are really good in the summer. So drink mojitos, but in moderation. And if you can take a break from alcohol, this is a really good time to kick yourself in the butt. I know it's hard, and just do that a little bit. Right now, sunflower seeds are great. They're really good. You want to emphasize sunflower over more heating and heavy things like your heavy nuts and even things like sesame seeds that are so great for us. They're heating. I'm just giving you guys the quick and dirty on what's going to be the very, very, very best for you to eat on the daily. Now, if you throw some sesame seeds in your life one day, it's totally fine. But here are the things that, like, if you go to the grocery store, make sure you get sunflower seeds, coconut oil, raisins, some seafood, some white rice, and the vegetables that are in season, because that's really going to be helpful. In terms of oils, ghee's great right now. Coconut oil is great. Sunflower oil is great. I don't do a lot of milk, but right now I'm doing a little bit more milk. Milk is so good for right now. It's very cooling, and yet there's a heavy quality to it that grounds Vata. I ordered this rose petal jam online. I'm going to put you guys another link to that. So good. I don't have time right now to make rose petal jam, but there's a really good one that I've found, and I just throw that in my milks, and I'll Vitamix it up. So good. It's a really good time to work with the amazing queen of all flowers and healing love plants, which is rose. Rose is one of my spirit support systems. Spice wise, you're going to reduce the spicy spice, and you're going to increase the not spicy spice. And that's mainly cardamom, mint, fennel, coriander, cumin, turmeric. All those are really great. All the other stuff, you don't need as much of it. So you can kind of chill out on the spice. As always, it's best to have food warm and wet. But as you move into the summer, you can start to actually increase salads. This is the time where more of the raw food is going to be okay if you have good digestive fire. If you don't do a lot of raw. Garlic, super spicy stuff, chips, dry toast, peanuts, salsa, anything sharp and heating, you're gonna want to avoid. I know you want to go out and drink margaritas and eat salsa and chips. And if you go do that, it's fine. Just don't do it every night. Some of the other things that people don't know that are also heating are things like eggplant, peppers, pickles, even things like pineapples, tomatoes, anything in the family of sesame seeds, sesame oil, peanut butter. You're going to want to let those be less. Yesterday I went to the grocery store and I was just like so in this summer feeling and taking in a lot of rose and a lot of hawthorn for the heart. It's a good time to do that. Heart work. And I picked up the sunflower seed butter instead of the peanut butter. It's not to make big time rules on you. It's just that if you can make that choice and you have this information, you can make the choice for cooling rather than heating. People think that fermented foods are always good, and fermented foods are not always good. They're great and they help the microbiome and the gut biome, but the thing is, the ferments are actually really heating. And so if you already have a pitta condition like loose stools or acne or intensity or insomnia or anything, any of these types of things, you're gonna just want to do your best to reduce those overheating foods. So that's my little spiel on just basic early summer routine. And now for the fun part. What can I lather on my body? I am using the Pavani Pitta oil right now. I love it. And there are a couple little quickie, easy peasy recipes I want to throw at you right now that involve rose. And they're very easy. You can take half of a cup of dry organic crushed rose petals and a tablespoon of milk and half of a tablespoon of coconut oil and 2 tablespoons of honey. And if you have like a rose essential oil, you don't need to use this, but if you have it, that's great. You can put a drop or two in and mix all of that together. Sometimes I'll do the rose petals in the Vitamix and just blend them up until they're a powder, because I like a powder mask, but you don't have to do that. But it makes it a little bit easier to spread it on your face. So you would grind all of that up, or if you don't have a Vitamix, you just mix it all up and leave that on your face for 15 to 20 minutes. So good, you guys. Another one that I love to do, which you can add to the recipe base that I just gave you, is a tablespoon of sandalwood powder. That's also cooling and beautiful for the skin at this time. So that's really what I'm working with right now. I'm working with sandalwood. I'm working with rose. I'm working with gardenia because she's coming up in my yard. And I'll just throw as many gardenia petals they go so fast. Like if you know gardenia, it comes up and it turns yellow the next day and then kind of dies within a few days, the petals. So I've been taking her yellow flowers and just making gardenia water. And then I get in the bath, like a cool bath, and I pour that gardenia water over my head. Oh my God, you guys. And then my hair smells like gardenias. There's a reason why Indian women walk around with jasmine in their hair. It's just so pleasing. So that is my quick and dirty on the early summer routines. I just want you all to know that I love you guys. I feel connected to you guys. You're out there. You're not alone. I am with you. You are with me. We are a heart tribe. Even if you never meet me and I never meet you, our hearts are connected through this vast and crazy field called the internet that has the capacity to move like a spider web over time and space. And I'm so happy to be connecting with all of you international gals all over the world. And of course, our beloved American women. And we are a beautiful community over here. If you are not a member of Lineage of Love, it's $18 a month. I've told you guys, we offer it for free for a month. You can get in. So join us, and then you're a part of it in a different way than just the podcast. We have a Facebook group. We post there. I do a monthly live call with you. If you want to hang out with me live, get in the Facebook group. We also have, as you know, Ayurveda school coming up. And guys, it's filling up already. I can't believe it. We're only taking a limited number of women. So if you're interested, get in now, get in early, and get in while it's a little bit cheaper. And as always, we'll put the links to Ayurveda school and Lineage of Love online. Also, if you love this podcast, share it and subscribe. When you subscribe, it helps us reach other people when they search on the iTunes. So help us out, share it with your mama, share it with your auntie, with your sister, share it with any of the women in your life, or men. that, we don't want to leave these babies out. These men need to slather themselves in roses just as much as me and you, if not more. All right, my loves, have a beautiful summer. And hopefully we'll get Alicia booked again. And she's going to be our first guest. It's going to be awesome. Have a great day.
फूटे फूल अपन सुखे